Yo, what it is, what it was, you already know what time it is. It's the one and only Smooth Vega, and we're back. Today I'm joined by La Máquina Empire, my man GT Garza, the legend Cassette Coast, Bunz. You already know, man. New project out. Talk to us, man. What's going on, GT?
Man, it's going down, man. We got a new record out right now called Fuck With a Mexican. Man, y'all can check that out on iTunes, Google Play, everywhere digitally. It's me, my partner Coast, Bunz. We're out there repping for the people, you know what I mean?
Look, man, I got a lot of questions for you guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited to have you all here. Obviously, I got an opportunity to sneak peek the record at La Máquina Empire, right? The studio.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
You played the record for me.
Oh, okay.
And I got an opportunity to check it out. And obviously, we just saw you guys playing for SOB's New York right now, too. But man, the record's off the chain, bro. I kind of want to ask, how did it all come together? Like, obviously, the new project's coming out, Brown by Honor 3, right?
For sure.
The Trinity.
The Trinity,
Y'all
man.
are the Trinity?
Yes,
Y'all
sir,
the Trinity,
man.
y'all the Trinity. How did the Trinity come together? That's what I want to know,
Yeah.
you know, and I kind of want to ask you guys, like, how did that form?
That's a good question, man. I've known Bunz for about a decade now, just from rhyming. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been rhyming since as long as I can remember.
Yeah, for a while.
And I know me and him used to always run in the Coast frequently. Money Mike, everybody, the whole of Máquina squad. We used to see Coast at every show, every venue, every place that we could go, he was there. You know what I'm saying? And we'd always keep it cordial. 1,000, what's up, bro? Good to meet you. Good to see you. Da, 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 da. And as time went by, you know, his situation, you know, he became independent. We had got our label up and running, and then things just started kind of connect. You know, we started having phone conversations, like what kind of music you jamming, what you bumping, da 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 da. And then, you know, it slowly just started forming. I don't know how, you know, they see it, but in my head, that's what I was.
I mean, because I see you guys come together. It's like some Power Ranger shit. You know
Bro,
what I mean?
it's amazing.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just, you know, what is it?
I'm the
Maybe
Green
one more
Ranger.
time shit.
Yeah, bro.
No, but I mean, I say that because obviously I'm not as familiar with Bunz, and I want to get to know more about your story here in a second. We'll circle back around that, but obviously Coast.
Yeah, man.
You know, anybody that knows music in Texas for the last fucking 20 years knows how cold-blooded this man is on the microphone. You know what I'm saying? One of the best to ever do it, bar none. Doesn't matter if he's Mexican or not. You know what I'm saying? And I just kind of wanted to know how that came about, because keeping up with your journey, seeing your story kind of unfold, I thought there for a minute that you had posted that you were out. You were done. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was it.
Yeah, I was for a good little while, man. Like some devastating things occurred in my life, you know what I mean? And it just put me in this place where it's like, I can't mess with music no more. It just being alone with my thoughts, trying to come up with music, it just takes me deeper and deeper into this darker place. So I was like, I can't even touch it no more. But a partner of mine, Lucky, one day he asked for a feature on something he was working on, and so, you know, that's my boy. All right, you know what I mean? I shot him a 16, and I felt pretty good about it. And about a month later, he asked for another one. I shot him another one, felt pretty good about that. And then it just started to snowball from there, where I just slowly but surely started making my way back into things. And that's when GT came along, and he was, you know, just inquiring about what I was trying to do, you know, what kind of moves I was trying to make, and just stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And we'll get back to some of that stuff here in a second as well, because I want to unpack some of that. But I say this because, you know, and again, I don't know as much about Bunz, and we're about to find out. I heard the record, by the way, he snapped too. Make no mistake about it.
Appreciate it.
But GT, man, you know, no slouch on the mic himself, a monster on the mic. So to kind of see all this come together was just like, it's kind of dope. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of dope. I feel like it's needed.
These guys here are phenomenal MCs, bro. When it comes to wordplay, patterns, the way they approach the mic, they're just seasoned. You know what I'm saying? They know what they want to do, and they know how they want to approach it. And when I see stuff like that, it makes me want to rap harder. It makes me want to work harder and get to work with these guys. And then it just makes music fun again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get to rhyme with people that you enjoy making music with. It's like what you got in the game for.
Well, look, before we go into personal journeys, before we talk about everything, I want to go into this Fuck With a Mexican record. I want to talk about not even the project. I want to talk about something that is meaningful to me, which is being a Mexican in this rap game, right? And I feel like this record in specific really was you guys stating your claim, like, not only about fucking with a Mexican, but like you guys were showing out. You guys were really going off and really proving that as Mexicans, there's a real skill set to be said, because let's be honest, and I'm not trying to make this a race thing, but culturally, like, I've always said this, and please understand what I'm saying. I've always said that I feel that people that aren't Mexican look at Mexicans making rap music the same way that Mexicans look at people that call Taco Bell authentic Mexican food. You know what I'm saying? Like in the sense that they don't feel that it's authentic. I just, this morning I got a call from Goo. I was talking to Money about it right now. And Goo was telling me, Paul Wall's manager, shout out to Goo, right? He was saying that Charleston White had this video that he did. I don't know if you guys even know who he is, but Charleston White's this dude that went on, started making this rant online, and he's an influencer. This guy's doing millions of views on YouTube, on every platform, and he went on and said that he's not a fan of Mexicans that rap and use the N-word. He's not a fan, and he doesn't feel that a Mexican can out-rap. There's nothing a Mexican can do better than a black man in regards to rap music, in regards to XYZ. Now, I beg to differ.
Who said this?
Charleston White. We'll talk about that. It doesn't matter who said it. It doesn't matter who said it.
Just keep going.
Because these are real conversations and real dialogue just per what we see within this industry. Like, are we really truly accepted? But when I see and I hear and people position it like there's not a real skill set within that, I beg to differ. I play y'all's record. You can't tell me that you guys can't out-rap not only other Mexicans, but people, period. You know what I'm saying?
We make music for the people and hip-hop, period. Where it don't matter what color you are, bro. Like, music to us is either gonna jam or it don't jam.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So you either good or you not good. You know what I'm saying? You can put a song together or you can't. You can freestyle for 10 minutes or you can't. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got their own, like, little thing that they do. But, like, for us, we know we jamming.
I feel you, but let's not pussyfoot around it. Do you feel that Mexicans in rap music get the same respect? Let's be real.
At this point, I really couldn't tell you because in my mind, I feel like we're barely getting a light shedded on us. I barely feel, we had a conversation the other day about this where you're barely starting to see your Cardi B's and your station in Houston, 97.9 in the box, they played a song with Cardi and Bad Bunny and he rapping in Spanish. You know what I mean? Like, never in life had they played a rapper speaking Spanish on that radio station. And it finally crossed over. So I think it's more of a timing thing. You know what I'm saying? We're gradually going to get to a point where more Mexicano, Latin MCs, and just other cultures start to get to the light. You know what I'm saying? Because we're all Mexican, but my partner Money's Peruvian. You know what I'm saying? My partner Rob G, he from Uruguay. You know what I'm saying? So we're all Latin, but we're from different parts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the reason I ask is because obviously when I think of you, Coast, right? Now going back to you, someone that's had, a history, no denying, rap-wise, who could fuck with him, right? There's very, very few. Yeah. And we're not talking
Facts.
Mexicans, we're not talking whites, I'm talking fucking aliens,
talking
I'm
about
talking extraterrestrial. Very few people can fuck with you, you know what I'm saying? And when I ask that question that's specific, do you feel over the course of your career, not so much credit, fuck credit, because it might not even be why you do it. I get a very good sense of your artistic expression that this is the way you really, you know what I'm saying, this is how you paint your pictures. Yeah. This is your art. But in the context of what we're talking about, what's your position on it? Like in regards to just getting that just due, that respect, that credit for being an MC, a true MC, someone that truly loves the craft of rap.
Yeah. Well, my position on it has kind of changed these days. See, before, my whole thing was don't label me as any specific type of artist. Just let me be known as an artist, period. You know what I mean? When we think about, there's Latin Grammys as opposed to regular Grammys. There's Latin label as opposed to the parent label. You know what I mean? It's like, why even divide things like that? To me, it didn't make much sense. Like, how come everybody just can't be an artist together? You know what I mean? So for the longest time, that was my fight, was don't put any other kind of label on me except for being an artist. But like I said, man, these days, I find it to be a lot more important to further the culture of Hispanics in the rap industry. Because if somebody such as myself or GT or Bunz doesn't stand up and say, nah, this is us over here. If we don't wave the flag, ain't nobody gonna wave it for us, you know what I mean? It's just gonna persistently continue to where everything's gonna be divided, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. So I asked Bunz, like in your case, I heard the record again and I talk about, you snapped on that joint. And being with these guys, I'm sure it makes you elevate your game as well. But in the context of what we're having the conversation about, I always look at it like, why are we going where we're tolerated versus what we're celebrated? You know what I'm saying? Our people celebrate. You know how passionate the Latinos are towards what we do. You know what I'm saying? And so embracing it and fully, you know, taking hold of it and say, this is what we are. You know what I mean? Like, what's your position on what we're talking about right now?
Well, where I come from, man, my whole journey has been in, you know, like open mics and rough bars, rough places to perform at. So I always had to strive and like struggle to get to where I'm from. So coming up in my area, you know, we say different things than other people do, and like I never got the credit I was coming up. It seemed like I had to do 3 or 4 shows before I got credit for one. You know what I mean? So like I always had to work harder. It seemed like for me, I don't know if that's because I'm Hispanic. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, I don't know. But I know from my own experience, I've had to work harder, you know, so I don't know if that's because I'm Hispanic or that's just because that's just how the industry is, like what we're talking about. Maybe that I don't play too much in the politics on the industry side, but from my point of view, like I work a lot real hard.
And I say the same thing. You know, I've always said that we have to work twice as hard to get half the recognition, right? And I do believe that there's a lot of things that factor in and a lot of boxes that get checked off to make people want to embrace what we do. And, you know, I think a lot of it is, you know, within our culture, we often, we see people that come in and then we latch on and then we never let go, you know, and I mean that with all due respect, you know, like, doesn't matter what female singer comes in that's Latina, she's not Selena. Doesn't matter what boxer comes in, could be Canelo Alvarez, he's not Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And within Texas, we have that with SPM, truth be told, right? He set the bar high, a lot of people have latched onto it, and I do feel that there's like a stigma to a certain extent where people are viewing everything like, they're dope, but they're not SPM, and it's like, you're not trying to be, we're not trying to follow in that path, you know, we're creating our own. But in the process, we do salute and show love to that, right? But this is this is something that we're trying to go for, and I do believe in my heart, like when it comes to, from a culture perspective, do you guys get y'all's credit? I'm gonna say that I don't feel y'all do. I really feel that you guys are elite rappers. You know what I'm saying? Elite MCs. Lyrically, you guys can go with the best of them, and you guys make me proud whenever I think of, you know, artists that can represent for us. So on behalf of myself and a lot of people within the culture, we salute you guys, you know what I'm saying, for being able to represent, you know?
That,
No, that's love, man. I would just say, dog, from the little platform that I built for myself, I just wanted to give my partners the same opportunity I had. You know what I'm saying? Bunz, Coast, Fellow, everybody that I'm rock with, you know what I'm saying? So whatever I'm capable of doing or how far my reach can go, I want it to do for them. You know what I mean? And then they take it to a whole nother level and do what they need to do. You know
it ain't little though, bro. Don't say it's a little platform because a lot of people
man,
work hard to get to that point. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. So, but just, you know, just in
I think Garza
retrospect.
barely getting his shine right now. I think he barely gets starting off. All the hard work, like we said, we talking about working double, triple the work to get half the shine. He just did all the work. Now he barely getting the shine. People like Coast, they did all the hard work.
Yep.
Now they barely starting to get the shine. So like, I think it's just barely starting for them too, you know? So.
And before we steer away from this conversation, do you guys, being from Texas, feel that pressure of like, do you understand what I'm saying? The stigma, the SPM thing, it's not so much like I'm saying that you guys are compared, but just there's certain, you know, that
I've heard it in conversation before.
Yeah.
But to us, like, I think we done got so comfortable with each other and just making music and just doing what we do. Like, we don't care who it is.
Correct.
Like, we gonna go out there and bust y'all ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care who you do, what a camera, this camera I'm talking to, I don't care who you are or what you do, we gonna come fuck you up. On the mic, we gonna bat, whatever y'all wanna do, bro. Like, these the hardest rappers you gonna meet. So, name the time and place and we gonna be there. We gonna rock the show. We're going to open a cipher. You let me know where it's at. And we're going to pull up.
Well, you know, that's what I love about you, you know what I'm saying? Because I often think there's a division within like the culture. They'll try to make, you know, oh, the Southern Latinos are different than the West Coast, the East Coast. I don't give a fuck about none of that.
Nah, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Play me Coast on the East Coast, on the West Coast. Goddamn, and I don't give a fuck. Jupiter, it's gonna still sound exactly the same to me.
Bro, we want to rhyme.
You know what I mean?
We want to rhyme the dopest shit, be around the dopest producers, dopest artists, dopest people in the industry that that want to level up and do dope shit like we do. You know what I'm saying?
Let's talk about the journey. I'm gonna start with Garza. From what I've researched, you started as a battle rapper, didn't you? At one point, you were actually battle rapping motherfuckers to prove yourself.
I dabbled in it a little, you know what I mean?
Was it always GT Garza? Did you ever have another name?
It was GT at first.
Just
and
GT.
then my homeboy DJ Kool-Aid from the Chapaholics, he told me to add Garza at the end.
And that was it.
And he was like, bro, trust me, add Garza at the end.
And so you started working the circuit. What, did you consider yourself a battle rapper, or did you kind of go through that?
I did consider myself a battle rapper. You know what I'm saying? I was battling for a couple years. I go to like all the like B-boy events, like a lot of underground circuits, you know, the chilling circuits, the little $200, $500 battles, you know, wherever there was an open mic, like I was trying to go. And really, I think that was just me learning my craft, learning who I was as a person, what I was trying to say. Even when I didn't know what I wanted to say to the people, that was just a way for me to vent.
What made you pick up the mic?
I wasn't good at basketball.
That's always my excuse. I said I was too short to play basketball. You know what I
Nah,
mean?
bro. I mean, I tried a lot of things. You know, I had a job. I worked at Foot Action, Celebration Stage, and I had a bunch of different things that I tried, but nothing called out to me every day to want to keep doing it.
But I would say, you know, in regards to the turning point of when you decided, like, this is actually what I'm going to do, what was that? And not only that, but who were some of the people that inspired you artistically? It doesn't have to be like someone that like, oh, I wanted to be fucking Snoop Dogg, but you know what I'm saying?
A lot of people in high school. I used to watch a lot of my partners beatbox in the back of the school bus, you know what I'm saying, rhyme, you know, at the lunch tables. And a lot of those people, or people that I first seen hip-hop in my face, you know what I'm saying, like actually rap, and I'd be like, yo, that's tight. You know what I'm saying? I want to do that. I want to shut somebody down like that.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And then gradually it just turned into like, okay, how do I transition into being an artist and making music and then starting a business and getting a label running and doing all that. So just over time, it just, you know, it just gradually just evolved.
Coast, same question. You know, what was it for you? What got you started in the game? What made you want to rap? You know what I'm saying? And was it always Coast? Was it ever another name?
Well, to tell you what made me want to start rapping, I had to take you all the way to third grade.
Ooh, let's hear it.
Yeah. So in the third grade, the whole class read a book, right? It was I can't remember the name of the book. Anyways, instead of everybody writing a report about the book, the teacher broke everybody up into like groups of 3 or 4 and said, all right, make a song about the book instead of writing a report. So, you know, I got my homies in my group. We clicked up, went to our little corner to write a song or whatever. They want to goof around. But me, I was more like, let me see if I can't get this done. You know what I mean? So I wrote a song about the book, and then everybody had to get up in front of the class and do their song. And it felt cool to me to get up there and do the song that I had made in front of everybody. The other dudes that was in my group, they wasn't paying attention from the jump, so they just kind of stood there while I did the song. But after that day, I just kept going, writing this and that or whatever. You know, I ain't but 8 or 9 years old at the time. Whatever I'm writing, it ain't anything of content or value, you know what I mean? But it got the pen moving. And then just through the years, I just stayed developing the craft. And then all the way up through high school, like once I graduated from high school, I had like 1 week into myself. That following Monday, my homeboy called me. He was like, hey, we got invited to go to the studio. You want to go check it out? It was Dope House. You want to go check it out? Sure, let's go. From that day forward, I was there every single day, and I've never stopped.
Was it always Coast? Was there ever any other rap name?
Before it was Coast, it was Third Coast. Like I used to have this piece and chain, and I had the piece said Third Coast, but it looked more like a nameplate, where the third was smaller, but Coast was bigger. So people saw it and they just assumed it was a nameplate, and they would say, "What's up, Coast?" And you know, I wouldn't correct nobody, and it's just something that stuck. And then I just went by Coast for the longest time, up until people started pointing out to me that you can't Google me to find my music. You just type in Coast, you're gonna get Galveston or some kind of search results like that. You know what I mean? So I was like, no, man, I feel like I'm missing out on a lot of people that's trying to direct themselves towards my music and they can't find me. So that's when I added Cassette to the beginning of my name, because when I was in high school, I used to record myself over karaoke on a karaoke machine.
A little paper on top of the cassettes.
That's it.
You know,
I used to do
Man.
man, come on. You
I
already
used to
know.
make my own tapes like that, and then I would just dub them over and over all night, and then the next day I would take them to school and slang them in the parking lot. So adding Cassette to the front of my name is just kind of like a drawback to where I started. You know what I mean?
Dope. That's dope. And before we go into Bunz, I want to ask, because you're such musically, you have so much range, so much depth. Who are some of the people that inspired you musically, like that like prior to you making music, and even maybe during the time that you've made music, that you're like,
Yeah.
these are somebody that made me want to pick up the pen and move it a little harder.
When I was a kid, man, me and my sister, we stayed with my mom. My mom was a single parent, but she still wanted to go out and party. So wherever she went, she would have to take us with her. You know what I mean? So I spent a lot of times as a little bitty kid inside these biker bars where it's just like rock music going on all the time. So I came up listening to rock type music, but then like 11 or 12 years old, there was a switch where my mom had to move out. My dad came in the picture. My dad's more into like mellow, like bluesy type music, things like that, Stevie Ray Vaughan and that whole vibe. So I kind of got a mixture of that whole little feel of rock music, blues music, and then being around the people, you know, just kids in the neighborhood like myself, everybody listening to rap music. So it's just like a fusion of all that, probably.
Got you. What about you, Bunz? How'd you get the rap name Bunz? I'm just interested.
Oh man, you're not the first person to
That's,
that.
that's a really interesting
Trust me,
name.
yeah.
Just bad as smooth nigga, you know what I mean?
It's a hood nickname.
Got you.
And I always say, like, when you can't make your own nicknames up. Real nicknames you can't make up yourself in the hood. The hood gives them to you. You know what I mean? My name's Alex. You know, so they used to call me Al Bundy, which shortened down the buns along the years. You know,
Oh, man.
that's how it got shortened down. And then once I seen DMX, RP DMX, once the movie Belly came out, he made my name cooler than motherfucker. So I just ran with it.
Oh, there you go, man. Now,
Yeah,
so I mean,
so-
what made you pick up the pen? What made you want to
Oh
become
man,
an
I
MC?
can't play any instruments. That's the only reason why I rap. Straight up,
Hey, but-
simple as that.
Is there anybody in specific that made you pick up the pen?
Yeah, actually, I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan.
I knew one of y'all were gonna say Michael Jackson
a
because he was
huge
moonwalking a
Michael
little while ago.
Jackson
You know,
And-
GT was over there moonwalking on stage
Yeah,
a
I
little while
seen
ago.
him,
So
yeah.
I was like, I knew somebody
Yeah,
was
that's
fucking
me
with
though.
Michael
I'm a huge
Jackson.
Michael Jackson fan. I jammed Michael Jackson when I was little, watching him dance and sing, and I couldn't play any instruments, and he never played any instruments. He was always by himself on stage dancing and singing, so he kind of made me feel like I didn't need an instrument to hold the crowd's attention.
Our voice is the instrument.
Yeah,
you know
so
what I'm
I
saying?
started doing that. I started using my voice, you know. So.
Going back to Coast now, you know, you talked about going to Dope House. You know, that's obviously a part of your career that a lot of people are familiar with, and how, you know, you gained notoriety early on with Twin Berettas. You know what I'm saying? And during your time with Dope House, I'm just kind of curious how was it? You know, what were some of the takeaways? Because, you know, you came in during a really interesting time, I think.
Yeah.
And you know, you did get a very big cosign, a really big arm around you from, you know, SPM, who obviously we mentioned a little while ago is prominent specifically in this region. So how was it, Dope House? What happened? Kind of give us a little bit of, pepper a little bit of that in.
So going up to Dope House for the first time, I ain't know nobody there. You know, it was just my partner Nelson that invited me to go with him. It was just me and him there for a little bit, and just kind of getting the vibe for whatever everybody was doing there. Like when I first went, I realized that it wasn't like this whole just operation going on. Everything was divided. Like this group of people would record over here, that group of people will record over there, and they do their thing over there. And then SPM, the main artists, everybody on the label, they got their whole other room over there that they do their thing in. So it was a process of clicking up with people inside the warehouse there, and just slowly but surely recording on whatever anybody would let me record on. And my name started, you know, kind of getting passed around throughout the inside still of the building. Nobody had heard me outside, And then eventually word traveled around the SPM. Well, this dude over here, you might want to check on him. You know, he's got something about him. And so, you know, he and I kind of kicked a little bit, and nothing ever came from it. But then one day he was putting a compilation together called Screwston, and he was going to everybody, let me hear what you got recorded. And so the engineer put on a song that I had got on. It was called Murderholics. And as soon as that song came on, the beat came on, Carlos was like in a bad mood at the time, because I don't know what happened before he got up to the dope house that day, but he just wasn't having it with everybody. Mm-hmm. But when that beat came on, boy, his face lit up. He jumped up out of his seat. He started dancing. The dope house dog, I forgot the name. Pretty was the name of the dog. The dog was walking by. He got up and grabbed the dog and started dancing with the dog. And yeah, so just from that moment forward, it was just always, you know, he would look out for me whenever I was there, and he would pull up. He'd make sure I have a little bit of money in my pocket, things like that. Yeah, and then one thing led to another, and
you formed the group, right? I formed Twin Berettas, right?
Yeah. So initially, Dope House approached me about just signing as a solo artist, and I wasn't so comfortable with it yet because, like I said, I was fresh out of high school. I didn't really know nobody there, but I had started making a few friends here and there within the company, and so I was like, I'm not opposed to signing to the label, but I probably feel better if we incorporated this person as well. So they went back and rewrote everything, and then they submitted it as for a group. And yeah, that's where Twin Berettas came from. That's how we started.
Do you still keep in contact with Coda now?
Not at all.
What was the departure like? What led for that just to run its course and be like, yeah, you know, we...
Well, see how I could say this in a polite way.
Hey, man, no holds barred. Unfiltered, you know what I'm saying? He maybe said some things or denied actions of certain things that he should have just came clean about. Gotcha.
Should have just came forward with. But because he did not, I just washed my hands of him.
That was it.
That was it.
We'll get back to you in a second, man. I got to get to GT now. GT's hearing this just as much, you know what I mean? We'll come back.
Cliffhanger, goddamn. I want to know
that shit about Coast.
Hey,
I didn't even know that
Hey,
shit.
can I call you third coast?
Hey, welcome to 20 motherfucking 20.
God
my
damn,
boy.
hold
You know what
on.
I'm saying?
I feel like I was in a movie right now.
Intense. That was intense right there.
So, GT, you know what I'm saying? I asked you a while ago, you never really answered it. At what point was the career?
There you go, not answering questions.
What was the turning point for you to actually take this serious as a career? Because when we talked about you kind of paying your dues, chitting and circuit, but when did you realize, like, yo, this GT Garza shit, it's real?
Man, I had some partners push me into a battle where I won a set of rims, and after I won that money for the rims, because I didn't have a car, I basically sold the rims. That was my way to buy my school clothes. And my mom worked 2 jobs, only had off on Sundays, couldn't really, like, I had the Pippins, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't had no J's, you know what I mean?
The Pippins in the air?
So, we ain't gonna speak on that. Shout out to Pippin.
Yeah.
So it was a way for me just to relieve her of that stress of how I'm gonna get my son school clothes. And then it became, you know, fun to me. And it was like, oh man, if I can go around talking shit to people and get money for it, like, what else I wanna do? So it just made me want to go for it. It was a way to make money, a way to put clothes on my back, have the tighter shit that I couldn't afford at the moment. And it just became an obsession. And I just never stopped.
So you realized that this is something you could do when you started seeing some money off it, pretty much.
Definitely. I didn't know how, but I knew once I got that. Bro, I had jobs before that. And them jobs never paid me as much as that one battle did. So I was like, fuck that job. I'm finna go get this money.
What year was that?
2002, I started battling, and I did my last battle in 2006, 2007. And from there, I probably did about 30 to 40 battles.
Did you ever get smoked?
Yes.
You know, but I think that sharpens you.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna tell you like this. I done smoked a lot of people you know. but we not gonna speak on it.
Oh, here we go with this.
But I done got smoked a couple of times. Bro, what happens? We
good.
battling, bro. We rhyming like this is what we here for.
Yeah.
And you show love to each other, man, that's hard. All right, I'm gonna see you again.
Yeah.
And you keep it moving. You know what I'm saying?
What would you consider up to this point? You know, it's 2021. Obviously, all the last year was a little fucking weird, right? But what would you consider your career-defining moment up to this point?
Career defining moment linking up to this point?
Like up to this point, like what is your career-defining moment per your opinion? Up to this point, because
I'm not gonna bullshit you. This moment right now, because of the fact that I feel like I'm back rhyming when I first started. I don't feel like I have a pressure of I gotta make a hot single. I gotta impress this person. I gotta be validated by this person. I gotta go in and try to make this style of record.
did you feel like you fell in that routine or something? Like
Hell
was it-
yeah. I don't think any artist doesn't fall into that routine of like, what do I do with this music? Where do I take it? Who do I pitch it to? What's the next steps do I do with it? I think, you know, maybe for me, you know what I'm saying, I know I went through that. But I feel like, you know, at every certain time in people's career, they might go through that. So I went through that phase. And then I was just like, man, I don't give a fuck what people think.
So, you know, whenever I was at the studio with you and Money sometime back, and I went over there and we talked, I had asked, you know, specifically about this project, right? I had asked, like, what was the decision that led to want to work with these guys? Well, you know, and it wasn't like I was asking disrespectfully. I just wanted to know because I had seen you maneuver for so long just as you. And then, you know, I saw you bring in Crystal Pop and then I see this project start kind of forming. Like, what was that decision? Is it just timing now? Do you feel like you're just in a better place? Is it expansion? What is it?
All that in the above. To be honest with you, Money Mike is the person that introduced me to Crystal Pop. She opened up for us on a Halos and Horns tour. And I didn't have it in my mind to be like, yo, I want to sign a female artist or even build a label at the time. We were just still, you know, building, barely getting onto our third, fourth leg of, you know, touring, you know, our third year of touring. We probably did like 15, 20 shows. But when I seen her on stage, I was like, yo, she's dope. She's incredible. You know what I mean? I was like, there's somehow we got to, you know, work and make some shit shake up.
I recall you telling me that, you know, that specifically about Crystal Pop and, you know, that when you started working with her, you started realizing that she was a student, she was a sponge, you were showing her stuff. And did you ever feel, not even just so from the first time you saw her perform, but just kind of being as young as you are, because me and you are at the same age, I believe, but like kind of taking that mentorship role, kind of like at this point in your career, like is that something you're comfortable with, like being the mentor to a young artist that you can essentially usher in, you know? Because, I mean,
Well,
I think we could all agree Crystal has a lot of upside, you know?
Man, she's phenomenal, bro. Like, and one thing about her is she loves to study the game. She loves studying West Coast music, East Coast music, Southern music, whether it's new, whether it's old, you know, whatever it is, she wants to know what it is. And then we used to wake up in the morning and basically dissect our records. You know, we put on some Nas and how did he come on the song? Does he keep saying I? Or did he even, you know what I'm saying, is he descriptive? Is he using metaphors? Like, all this we would, you know, chop up and break down. You know what I'm saying? And she picks up quick. You know what I'm saying? So her pen game is phenomenal. So like even when we all hop in the studio, I'm not worried about if he's gonna come tight. I'm not worried if he's gonna come tight. I'm not worried if she's gonna come tight. All we gotta do is hop in the booth and we're gonna go off. So it made it so comfortable as a company that it just meshed like, you know what, this is fun. This is something that I like doing. I enjoy doing it. So it became more of like, if I can have fun with the music and bring people that I respect musically along with me, man, let's go.
Bunz, how does it make you feel being around all of this now? You know what I'm saying? You said you've been doing it 10 plus years, kind of been grinding. You know, now you're in the situation, the project's about to be out. You know, what's the metaphor they say? You walk, talk, hang with ducks. You're not a fucking mongoose. In this case, you're hanging with some killers. You know what I mean? So that puts you in automatically that same light. You know, what's your stance on it, man?
Well, I'm excited for the project. You know, like I'm glad that I'm back rapping with these guys. Like this is the first time I've actually rapped with Coast, like doing records together. But me and Garza, we've done plenty of records together. Like, and I went through like a stretch where he met Crystal and was doing all those things like that. I wasn't around. I was doing handling some personal issues that I had. And so when I came back into the gap after making full circle, having to go do a little bit of time and things like that, after making that full circle, coming back around, I'm super excited that the opportunity is still even here for me to vent some of these things out that I went through, because I can't make up any rhymes. Like, I got to live through things first, then I'll speak to you about them. So that was kind of how I met them. The first half of my life, I spoke about it, everything with Garza on That Boy T Records, on Garza Records, Fellow Records, and then I had to take a small break from music and deal with I had children and I had to deal with some personal issues. And so just coming back around and this being still able to rap at this level with these guys is great. Because when I first started rapping after that hiatus, I was trash, man. Like straight up. Like, I had forgot to what it was to spar, basically. You know what I mean?
Rusty.
Hey, I'm gonna be serious. Like, I'm probably the best rapper from my hood. So every time I went to the studio, of course I was better than them. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't up my game till I got back into the lab with these guys. Then I was like, all right, yeah, this is where I need to be at. Like, I just hit the ground running because I felt competitive again. Like, soon as the beat turns on, I'm trying to beat those guys at rapping.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. I've always been that way. Even when
it makes for great music. It makes for great music.
Even when we were trying to make records, I might mess up the vibe because I'm coming at Garza. Coming at Coast.
Yo.
I'll even say, like, I lose track of the whole course of the song because I'm just trying to murk these two guys.
Yeah.
And I know if I could just keep that in my mind, my best self will come out on record.
You make a point, though. You know, the name of the show is called Nothing Beats Experience, and the reason I named the show that is because I feel experience is the best teacher. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like you going through these things that ultimately kind of shape the way you approach music. You know what I'm saying? Because I agree with you. I don't feel like you could fake the art. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's either something you live and you give, or that's what it is. You know what I mean? So, but in terms of the long term now, I know this is a group project right now, but is this something that you could see? I'm asking him only, by the way. Is this something that you see moving forward that you think this could be?
Garza, like Garza, I've known him for a decade, so that's probably been, Garza have always been somebody that I figured, like, since '06 when I met him, like, I was gonna stay rapping with him. We just had a good vibe. Everything we did was tight, and even outside of the music, we clicked real good, so that was something that I didn't really click on with other artists as much because I'm always competing with them. So I think that's the thing. He keeps me on my toes about
Bunz
it.
hated me at first.
Yeah, at first though, I didn't like it.
Did y'all ever battle? Did y'all ever?
No. Like I said, I knew he was a battle rapper. But he didn't know who I was. I'm from a country town, man, Rosenberg. Wow. They're from Houston, so I had to make a lot of waves before Garza and them heard a little wrinkle of what I was doing. But that's how I ran into Garza at like a open mic type show. I was there by myself performing, and they performed. Or the SWAT, group that he was with.
SWAT.
So that was way back, man. So as far as that goes, I didn't like Garza at first. I walked in a girl's bedroom in '06, and I thought I was the most popular Hispanic artist because I was on this side of the Brazos River in my country ass town. You know what I mean? I walk in the room, she got a Maverick Music poster on the damn wall. And I'm walking out like, man, who's this dude right here? You know, I started telling them, fuck that dude, man. I'm trying to put my poster up on top of his and shit. You know what I mean?
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so that was my first go at Garza. Probably he didn't even know. Ever since then, I've been meeting him. Yeah, I've been meeting him every time we would meet up. I was like, oh, Garza's here. Oh, yeah, shit, I'm trying to make that. That's how it was, man. It stayed that way. Just competitive, man. That's why I love rapping with these guys. It just keeps me up on my toes and just feeling like if I don't come correct, somebody's gonna correct me. You know what I mean? So I try to keep that shit right.
It's the way to go. So going back, we were talking about this whole coded thing. I know that we don't really want to dig too much into it. How long has it been since you've talked to this guy?
A little over 3 years.
So it's been 3 years, but the departure of the group was way.
Oh yeah. That was.
So y'all still managed to have somewhat of a cordial relationship after the group departure.
Yeah. I mean, really, the group split up only because I think he was doing a couple solo projects, and then I started putting some solo stuff together. But then ultimately, I started running around with Eddie DeVille, and then I started running around with Chingo and stuff like that. And so me and him, we just kind of the ties kind of just
So the
split.
Eddie DeVille thing, Chingo thing, because I'm gonna be completely honest, I never thought it made sense personally, right? Because like to me, I did feel like there was you outgrew the group. You know what I'm saying? And really, you know, y'all made great music, but you're just such a different type of artist, in my opinion. That like I don't really know that people have really truly heard the best of you yet. You know, like just from a artistic standpoint.
Yeah.
Because there's so much depth. You know what I'm saying? You know, you come from a place that pit of your stomach music where you're really, you know, like depression, you're talking anxiety, you're talking about being just introverted and being in your thoughts and having these ideas, like these concepts. But when I saw you click up with Eddie and Chingo, and I'm nothing but love for them guys, but I'm saying like, how did that come about? Because I was always wanted to ask that, you know?
Well, I knew Eddie from the Dope House days, and so we were cool in that aspect. And once I got away from Dope House, I was just out on my own doing whatever I could, you know what I mean? And then Eddie reached out to me and told me he was putting together a mixtape if I would contribute a verse to it. And so, like, yeah, me and Eddie, we go back. Yeah, I got you, no problem. I go over to the studio with him, lay something down. Me and Eddie had never really hung out,
Mm-hmm.
but this time we did in this session. And so we just started hanging out a little bit more. And come to realize that he and I kind of share a lot of similarities. The way we see things, just our whole personality and vibe in general. So we just always hung around after that. Like it wouldn't even have nothing to do with music.
So it was like a real friendship.
Yeah, like, hey, I'm gonna come get you. Let's go to the mall type thing. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And because he was already so heavily involved with what Chingo was doing, then naturally I just kind of fell into that as well.
Got you.
Yeah.
And the reason I said it never made sense is musically was polar opposites. You know what I'm saying? It's borderline parody. Nothing fucking parody about you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
just keep it in a buck. You know what I'm saying? So, fast forward, you know what I'm saying? I know that the last few years have been a journey for you. You know what I'm saying? You've experienced, like you mentioned, some hardships.
Mhm.
Don't want to really touch too much on that, but, you know, obviously
Appreciate
you
that.
experienced the loss and being something that you've really gone through. It's a really, like, life-defining thing that you've had to go through. How does that impact your art now?
How does it impact it now? Well, so like I said, there was that point in time where I just felt like I could not be alone with my thoughts. And I just said, because of this reason, because I can't trust myself to sit in the studio and listen to a beat loop for 5 or 6 hours and then just dig inside the back of my mind for thoughts and ideas, I have to give it up. But then, as I explained, slowly but surely, I started getting back into it to where now at this point where I'm at in, I guess you would say, a grieving process, to me, it's more of an appreciation for the ability to have time to still be out here and clicking up with these fellas and just going as hard as we are. Because tomorrow, it could not be this.
Yeah.
You know, tomorrow I could get a phone call about somebody, or somebody could get a phone call about me. So while we here, let's just do whatever we can do.
I say this not only on behalf of these guys, on behalf of myself, but I think on behalf of the community at large. Like, your voice, right, in terms of music, we're glad that you move forward and you're pushing and you're giving us your art, because just the way that you've gone through these experiences and these things and these life-altering things, you still have a profound impact in people through your words, through your art. So I ask, whenever, you know, you were going through this, there was a song that I had heard, and I forgot the name of it, but it's a really, really deep song. It's the last song of the project that you put out.
Oh yeah, the things I'll never forget.
Yeah, that song, you know what I'm saying? And I read the comments online, and I'm seeing these things, and it's like, for that reason, never stop, because very few people can do what you did and can do what you do. So yeah, that's why I ask, you know, like, how does it impact your art now? and just how you've grown, because I know it is a grieving process.
Yeah.
And I can't relate in that sense, but you know, obviously losing my mother in 2009, there's like a battle for like keeping the legacy alive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, and I'll say this much for people that aren't aware of what we're speaking about. I lost my fiance, and that's the whole grieving thing I had to try to cope with. And the song you're referring to, "Things I'll Never Forget," that's not a song that I did after she passed.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, nah, this was that song was actually supposed to be just like between her and I. It was a birthday present I gave to her one year, and I did like this whole little slideshow type video for us to sit down and watch together. It was to be a surprise to her when the album came out, for it to be on the album, but not only for it to be on the album, her voice. I had recorded her voice and put it at the beginning of the song. She never knew about that. And that was supposed to be part of that surprise. But yeah, I mean, as far as the song itself, and really 60 to 70% of that whole album was about her. All of which she heard while she was here. So I'm really happy that I was able to give her that. But then moving forward from that point after she passed, in regards to keeping her legacy and things like that incorporated within what I do, always. Always.
And I appreciate your opening up and giving us that honesty, because I feel like that's what makes an artist like you who you are.
Yeah.
And it's what defines artists. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate it, man. And I guess one last question before I go to GT is, what would you say is the biggest difference from the Coast that was walking into the dope house to the Coast today?
I didn't know who I was back then. I didn't know what I was capable of. I didn't know, really, I didn't have direction whatsoever. And not to say that I really feel like I have direction now, but I feel a lot more developed now. Like, I feel like I have a sound. My sound may change from one day to the next. I may give you two completely different sounding songs, but both of them you'll instantly know, oh, that's Coast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel like I'm polished in that sense.
Artistically, personally, what would you say is the biggest difference?
Personally, I don't really know, to be honest with you.
Still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, boy, no, because that's gonna be more of an artistic thing. But one thing that I hate is knowing that I've done something definitive, because I don't want to always be known for one thing. I don't want to always reflect back to that moment like, oh, you know me from this. You know, so it's always this ongoing thing in my mind to make sure I don't do anything that's just going to be that definitive moment for me. Because if it happens, it scares the shit out of me. I got to do something better than that now.
Yeah.
You feel me? So, yeah.
I say that because I think often, like, there's a reluctance, for me specifically, there was always a reluctance for me to own who I am or how I'm perceived, right? Like, for a long time, I was viewed as a promoter. I was like, I don't like the word promoter. Shit makes me want to take a shower, right? It was just a dirty word, you know what I mean? But that's what I am. And so now you start kind of working towards the strength. For a long time, I had artists that would ask me to manage them. I was hesitant to want to do that. You know what I'm saying? For a long time, people told me that I should be doing this. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to interview people. I didn't want to talk to people, because that's not what I wanted to own. Now, 2021, I'm owning every aspect of it because I know it was never an insult. 2021, GT Garza, do you feel like you're owning who you are?
Definitely.
You know what I mean when I say that, right? Because here's the thing, every one of us, we're talking. We've all had a long journey. You know what I'm saying? You know, we've all had a journey that's different but similar. And I feel like no pun intended, but the dots are connecting, everything's aligning. And so I feel like you are owning it. I feel like you guys are clicking on all cylinders. I'm excited about the project, by the way. When is the project coming out?
It'll be out late May. So Fuck With the Mexicans out right now. YouTube.com/GT Garza TV. Check these boys out. We're waiting on the album late May. We had to revamp it a couple times, man. You know, these boys trying to kill me on these verses, man. I don't like that shit. You know what I mean? Got to rewrite some shit. Got to come with it.
Look, man, I'll say this, man. You know, bet the house on these guys. You know what I'm saying? Because Fuck With a Mexican really is a, it's a dope ass song. It's a great video. But aside from that, you know, you guys are demonstrating skill on a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? Bet your money on these guys. If not, you're gonna go fucking bankrupt. You know what I'm saying? So, I appreciate y'all joining me, man. You know, any parting words that you guys want to say before we get up out of here?
I'm gonna let Bunz start if he want to rock something.
Oh man, April 26th. You already know what drops. Fuck With a Mexican. Dropping that late May. You already know the Trinity, Bound by Honor 3. That's all I want to say. Drop that. I'm happy to be here with you, man. Happy to spend my time there.
Oh, man, love. What about you, Coach? Anything you want to say?
Yeah, I just want to say that, man, it's really a pleasure to be able to share this time with these fellas in particular. You know, majority of my career, I was around rappers. But now I feel like I'm around actual MCs, wordsmith, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I appreciate these fellas for helping me just further fine-tune what I do. And there's no amount of money in the world that I could trade for that type of experience. So, yeah.
Garza!
That's live, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Follow that up.
You know, we appreciate you, Smooth. Like I said, man, pick up Fuck With a Mexican. It's out right now. Y'all make sure and go scoop that. Brown by Honor 3, the Trinity, featuring these fellas. Out late May. Y'all make sure and scoop that. And we appreciate the love and support, man. La Máquina, we in the building. You already know, man.
What's next? Come on, what's next?
Oh, Beautiful Monsters.
Beautiful Monsters.
Solo album for my dog here.
So you're not retired, my friend.
Oh, no. We got a lot of stuff going on.
Never that.
Nah, definitely.
I still got to be on this album, man, a couple times. So
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I hope you don't.
Nah.
Yeah, nah. So we, collectively, we all love rhyming together.
Clothing line? Don't you got a clothing
All
line?
that stuff. La Máquina, you can check us out. Fuck With a Mexican t-shirts is out right
Yeah,
now.
got a clothing line. That's what I'm
Make
saying.
sure and scoop them. If you ain't got the Fuck With a Mexican t-shirt, holla at me on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? ITZ GT Garza. That's It's GT Garza.
Yes,
Hit us
sir.
up. Holla at
Bunz
us.
1000.
You know what I'm saying? Bunz 1000.
Cassette Coast.
You know what I mean? So we rock it. You know what I'm saying? We just hanging out, having a good time, man.
Fuck With a Mexican. You already know. Smooth Vega, we out.